So today, I'm talking about how you can have peace in the storm. So, as I was just thinking, I was down south, just laughing and joking with family. And we were talking about, when it starts to snow, how they shut down the city. Even the little bits of snow, they shut down the city. They go, talking about like Atlanta, down there in Griffin and stuff like that. They go and they said you can't even find bread or water and everything, and people just buy everything up. And it's just funny, we were talking about like up here, they talking about how their power lines are not even, made to be able to handle a storm or something like that. Because even when when the snow happens, most of the power goes out. Whereas here up in the north, in Pennsylvania, in other states, we can have like 6 inches of snow, 12 inches, and we're fine. Power is, working and everything like that. Even when the roads shut, the roads are very heavily capped with snow. We get like a 2 hour delay or anything like that. And I was just talking about that. That just gives them 2 hours to get the road prepared or anything like that. And we can have peace during a storm. See, we have peace during the storm, especially like a snowstorm, because we put things into practice. Whereas down there, rarely do they have that much snow. But when the storm comes, they're not prepared. So we're gonna look at that spiritually. So Philippians 4:7, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Verse 8, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think on these things. So even in those situations, God is saying, think on these things, do what is right. So we look at Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3. The steadfast of mind you will keep in perfect peace because he trusts in you. Or you will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you. So if our thoughts are fixed on him, God will keep us in perfect peace no matter whatever the situation is. God can give us peace in any situation. John 14:27 says, peace I leave you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not be afraid. So God knows that there are going to be times that this world or life just throws things at us, but we can have peace in those situations. Philippians 4:9, whatever you have learned and received and heard from me and seen in me, put these things into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. So just like we were talking about with the snow. So up here in the north, we have put into practice, salt trucks. We lay salt down. We'll be able to, our power lines are a little bit thicker than the normal power lines like down there. So we put into practice. So when the snowstorm comes, we have peace. But you look at, down there, when the snowstorm comes, even the little bit of snow, it could be the smaller storm. All of a sudden, things have to be shut down or anything. They haven't put those things into practice. And maybe they don't really need to when it comes to a lot of snow because they don't really have snow. So maybe once in the blue moon, they'll have snow or whatever like that. But imagine, like I said, the chaos that people go through, with getting all, buying all loaves of bread and everything like that. But, putting into practice things in life. So we know things are going to happen in life, but God is like, what you've learned, put it into practice, because you put it into practice, you'll be ready when the storm comes. So you put those things into practice. When the storm comes, you can have peace. And that's kind of like where I'm at in my life. I've been through storms, and there's storms that I've like, I'm ready. Like, I'm going to put it into practice, and it says God will keep you in perfect peace. Your mind, when our minds are fixed, our thoughts are fixed on him. So, I have to be reminded too, and that's why I go back and I read the word, and I study so that, when those times comes, I can be like, okay, God, this is a refresher. I know you got me. This is another storm. We've been through storms, and you're going to continue to go through storms. But you can have peace. Verse 19 of Philippians 4, it says, and God will supply all your needs according to his glorious riches in Christ Jesus. Some of us have need of peace. I think a lot of times we don't really think about it like that. What do we need from God? Or, God's going to supply your needs. We look at like, oh, God's going to supply, taking care of the bills. God's going to supply a job. God's going to supply my child going to school, or anything or whatever the case may be. And we forget that, we have a need for peace. And that's why God says that. I mean, there's so many scriptures that talk about peace. Colossians 3:15. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, for to this you were called as members of one body, and be thankful. So no matter what, you can be thankful. So even in a rough situation in your life, you can still be thankful. So you can be going through, and you like, oh man, like I have this raggedy car, man. It's always something is always, it's getting you whatever. I mean, you can be thankful for you do have that raggedy car. It may only get you from point A to point B. It might not take you from like, from wherever you're at to like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or wherever, but that's what God is saying. Be thankful. Because if we focus on that situation, or you focus on that vehicle or whatever, you won't have peace. John 16:33, it says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. God knows that this world is going to throw some things at us, and in life, and we look at it, situations, and God is like, take heart, I have overcome the world. So it don't matter what happens, you still can have peace. And I tell people all the time, it don't matter what happens, whether the gas goes at $10 a gallon, God is still going to supply all your needs. Now the economy may change, but the only thing that may change is the fact that we just may have to manage our money better. But that still is not, deterred from what God has said. God will still supply your needs according to riches and glory. And one of my favorite scriptures I always give people all the time, especially, during times where we lose loved ones. 2 Thessalonians 3:16. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you his peace at all times. In every situation, the Lord be with you all. So God can give you peace in every situation. Especially like when making a major decision. One of my favorite prophets in the Bible was Jeremiah. Jeremiah 42:7, and he had prayed to God, and God didn't answer him for 10 days. And that's what we do sometimes in life. We say, oh man, I got a major decision. Should I go to this college? Should I go to this college? And God is answer you, but he might not answer right away. And I remember God was showing me that. And a lot of times he was showing me too, like Proverbs 3:5-6, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your paths. So we know that God will answer you in due time, but you can trust that, know that God has you no matter what, and God's going to direct your paths, and the one thing we can do, we can frustrate ourselves trying to figure out how this all gonna work. Okay, Lord, so I see this on the left, I see this on the right. It says that all things work together for good. So how's it gonna work? And we can sit there and frustrate ourselves trying to figure out and just say, you know what, God, I trust you. You know what, God, I trust you more than I trust myself. I heard Bishop Martha Sanders say that, and it was definitely, profound. Like, you got to trust God more than you trust yourselves, and don't get me wrong, like, feelings are real feelings, when you feel like, oh man, I feel like, man, I ain't gonna make it, or I feel like I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's okay to tell God, look, God, I don't know what to do. I know you do, and then God will reveal to you in due time, what to do. It's okay to ask God for that and ask God to help you, have peace, and Lord, help me to see things. Help me to see things the way you want me to see them. Because a lot of times there are so many blessings that has happened to us in life that we don't understand, and we don't see them as blessings. Sometimes you like a relationship. You might have been with somebody and it didn't work out, and they be like, oh man, I got done wrong. Like I was faithful to this person, man, and they cheated on me, and they did this, and I gave them another chance, and people told me not to give another chance, and I gave them another chance, and I gave another chance after that. And then, you ain't with that person no more, and you like, man, that's messed up. Like, why do good things, why do bad things happen to good people? And God is that's a blessing. God is trying to save you from something. It's not always a loss in that, but it's how you look at it. So if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, that's actually a gain, because think about it, you don't want to keep going through that relationship where that person is not going to be faithful to you. Don't nobody want to really be in that situation, but it's still positive, even in job situations, I was dealing with my job. I was working for the temp service for 6 months, and every now and then, we supposed to get paid every week, and then all of a sudden, I would do like 4 jobs in 1 week, every day you have a different job or whatever. So I would only get paid for like 3 of them. They'd be like, oh, next week you'll get your job, or, you'll get paid for that job. I'm like, but I'm supposed to get paid every week. Like, I might as well get paid every 2 weeks. So, I could look at it as a negative, but again, that was a blessing. Then I went to go work for, I was like, well, let me just get something consistent. So I was like, well, let me go work for like GameStop. At least it's consistent. They are hiring. I know video games pretty much. I'm cool. You know, they turned me down because I'm overqualified, and they still was hiring. I was like, listen, I just want a job, man. I'm not worried about that. But I got turned down. Then I ended up going to Verizon. So it was a blessing, you know. But some people look at it like, oh man, like I got a degree and I ain't got nothing. Listen, if you got a degree, God is still gonna take care of you. You still gonna find employment. You might have to continue looking for it. Put in application after application. Try snagajob.com, whatever. That's how I found Verizon. And I can sit here and say, I mean, I made way more money than what I would have made had I would have been at GameStop. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a blessing. It's just how you look at it, you know. And I just thank God for being able to see that, you know. But again, I keep my mind stayed on Him, you know, so I can understand and know that when the storm comes, just like I'm in the storm right now, I ain't worried. God got it. Because I know God says He's going to supply all my needs according to His riches and glory. And there's some decisions I have to make and some choices, you know, as far as like even like where to move. But, you know, God is going to take care of that. God is going to reveal it in due time, you know. Until then, I'm going to continue looking, you know, and just be prepared, you know. But I know God got it. So just want to let you know that you can have peace in all these situations, man. And listen, these scriptures I give you, write them down. If you got to revert back to them when you're going through something, that's what they're there for. It says the scriptures breathe life. So when they come to life to you, and then you'll see, man, like I said, God said He'll give you the peace that passes all understanding. Listen, there have been situations I've been in, and I was at peace. Like, I wasn't even mad. I'm like, God, I know it's you. Because if it was just me, or this was 2-3 years ago, man, I'd have been mad as heck. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I just thank God for that. But I'm out.